Good morning. I have the gardening done now. I have all the flower beds done. I took out all the weeds. And just because I don't have plants to replace the weeds, we have a good few blank spots now. It might even be a little bit sparse in places. That doesn't mean that the weeds get to stay. You know what I mean? Like I'll gradually find more. I'll find more plants to fill out the beds um, as I like. There's no shortage of plants all over this city. There's loads of plants all over this city. So a plant here and a plant there will gradually like get the way I want it looking. But just because I don't have the plants at the moment doesn't mean I have to leave the weeds there. I fucking don't. Like I just out. Then they only end up taking over everything, and everything gets overrun and everything else. You have to take it in the direction that you want it to go, even though that means that there has to be sparse places for a while. I remember when I opened my gym first, Muscleworks, and Muscleworks is the name of it, and I used to, even though there wasn't very many people came to it because I had a bit of a reputation for being a bit eccentric. Eccentric could be the word, but I used to insist on training everybody that came into the gym, and I used to really train them hard, because I used to really focus on techniques that really hit the muscle hard. You know what I mean? Like not just showboating, but really focus on destroying the muscle or breaking down the muscle. Breaking down the muscle, and. Uh, a lot of people didn't come back after one training session. After the first training session, they were so sore. Like as one fella said, I felt like I was having a heart attack in the bed that night. I trained chest with him, and he said I thought I was going to have to get an ambulance. I thought I was having a heart attack in the bed. My chest was so sore, but uh, but a lot of them didn't come back after one training session, and I said that's just perfect, perfect. Uh, I said, that's just perfect. And people said to me, Dave, you're going to have to stop doing that to the customers because, it's not very good for business. And I said, I couldn't give a fuck about the business. I couldn't give a fuck about the business. If these people can't come back after the first training session, start as you mean to go on, but if they don't come back, that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay. They're no fucking good to me. They're no good to me. They're not conducive to the ambience in the place. They're not conducive to the goal. They're not conducive to my construct. They don't, they don't align with my concept. They're not conducive to the goal. And eventually, after a period of time, I had exactly what I set out to achieve. The place was full of people who a little bit eccentric, who wanted to train hard and who enjoyed the ambience that I created and help each other out and share information. And then I had people training for strongman, powerlifting and bodybuilding, but all together and all learning from each other and learning different techniques and learning about diet and talking about training and training really hard together, which put we could nearly say a smell of test in the air. But it was an ambience, an atmosphere that was conducive to hard training and was conducive to getting results. But anybody who trained in this gym got results. They all got results. And anybody who didn't who didn't, who wasn't, who didn't feel comfortable in this competitive environment, by all means, fuck off and have your arse licked in Crunch Fitness. That's for you. That's for you. But you won't change. They'll lick your arse, but you won't change. And yeah, I remember one fella, and this is the whole thing why money is preferred and different. I didn't want your fucking money. I didn't want your fucking money. I'm striving for excellence. I'm striving for excellence, and that's the big difference. That when you're striving for excellence, I don't give a fuck about your money. It means I don't have to lick your arse. I don't have to lick your arse. If you're not conducive to the goal, take your money and shove it out the fuck. Out, me, you little bollocks. And that's the difference. And it's sort of the same with this hostel, you know. Like, like I know what I want to achieve here. I know what I want to achieve here. I want to have a business hub, a place for high performance animals that we can meet and socialize and interact with each other and learn from each other and work together. And it's sort of for it's for people who are a little bit eccentric. It's for the crazy people. But these are the best people. These are the best people. The high performance animals that don't want to be tamed. But yet at the same time, while you have the high performance animals that don't want to be tamed, you also need to balance this with little mood lights. You know what I mean? Little mood lights, like little calming influences. You know, like people who are just have a real easy vibe. It's like putting a donkey with the racehorse. It's like people who have just a real mellow vibe and a real nice vibe, and have a very calming effect. Like I say, they're like little mood lights, and they're welcome as well because as I say, life is like a chariot race. You know, you have to have the slow horse that gets you through the turns, the slow horse that gets you through the turns, and the fast horse that picks up the pace on the straights, and the whole thing works together as a team. You know what I mean? Like everybody has their role and everybody works together as a team. But you also have to know how to be selective. Like 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 I remember, like, there was one fella coming to my gym, and he was steady money, and he just used to come along and he used to train at his own pace, and he was making gains, and I liked him as a person and all. Like, I liked him, like, and I didn't mind him because he used to sort of just keep to himself and come and train, and he was making substantial gains because I used to give him the information, and in fairness, he used to embody the information, used to and utilize the information and the training techniques, and I suppose he was learning, but he wasn't integrating that much. But he was learning from people in the gym, and he was changing now. He was changing. But then he came up to me one night, and he was with me maybe about 2 years now. And he came up to me one night and said, "I'm not coming back, Dave." And I said, "Oh, why is that? You know, you're not coming back." He says, "Well, someone's after saying to me, you know, would you ever look around you?" He said, "Get your finger out of your arse. Do you not realise that what the competition that's in here? You may get your finger out of your arse and start upping your game." And he got intimidated by this, and he said, like, I suppose he expected me to deal with it, and I just said to myself, well, he's right. He's right. You know, get your finger out of your arse. You know, you're in a competitive environment, and you up your game, and if you're not comfortable with this, by all means, go on, jog on. And it's the same with the sort of a hostel. Like, as I said to a fella yesterday, like, I don't know if you ever saw Full Metal Jacket. Did you ever see Full Metal Jacket? But it might not have been in Full Metal Jacket. It might have been in the parody for it. You know, one of those Naked Gun things, or Top Gun. You know, Top Gun, where they do the rip-off of the Full Metal Jacket. I think it was Full Metal Jacket they're ripping off, but they said, you know, did you go full retard? You never go full retard. You know what I mean? I said to some fella, you never go full retard. But I don't treat everybody the same. But there's sort of a fella that came the other day, and he's one of these people, like some people, like, you know, like, they very much enjoy this ambience, and they very much enjoy this therapy, and they're very much being treated as special, and they're very, like Dr. Grease was talking the other day about, you have to be tolerant of these people who have suffered trauma. Stop imitating her like that. But you have to be tolerant of these people. You have to be cognizant that empathic towards the fact that they might have suffered trauma in their lives and they haven't processed this trauma. So you have to be tolerant of these people. And I said, no, absolutely, I really don't think so. As Dr. Darren Stanoff said, the best thing for trauma is to triple it. That's the best way to deal with trauma, is to triple it. And believe me, this is extremely effective, because when you triple it and you learn to coping mechanisms and resilience to deal with this triple trauma, everything else is just small stuff. You know, it's just, yeah, this is just a walk in the park. But anyway, I was saying you absolutely don't have to be tolerant with these people, because these people have a solution, have a problem for every solution, and they enjoy having their hole rimmed, and they enjoy having their arse wiped, and they enjoy everybody tiptoeing around them, and they enjoy everybody being tolerant of them, and everybody making them feel special, and everybody bound to their fucking as I say, weakness, imposing us. But I went full retard. Like, and when I go full retard, it can be a very uncomfortable and intense experience, because it can invoke a cortisol response, but basically it can be a very intense experience. Like, I'm sure a lot of these videos are very intense, but it can be a very intense experience. But basically, like, it's the same as Jack, get your finger out your arse. This is, you know what I mean? You have a choice here. You can up your game or fuck off. But basically, if you don't want to up your game, by all means, take your money and fuck off. You're not conducive to the goal, like, because the last thing you need, it's like when I was growing tomato plants. I learned an awful lot from growing tomato plants, you know. Nature's a series of recurrent patterns, but when you get a bud that comes out between the branch and the stem, that bud or that shoot is not going to produce any fruit. All it's going to do is draw nutrients take nutrients from the branch that will produce the fruit. So you have to break these off. And keep an eye out for them, and get them early and break them off, so that they don't take the nutrients from the fruit producing branch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then one fella came to me, like, because I was learning, like, you know, as much as I am now with my current gardening, like, one fella came to me and he said, oh, you have to put the clippings of the grass all around the plant, so that, you know, that it has feed, that this will compost, and then it'll have, the tomato plant will have feed. It'll have a feed when this breaks down, that the soil will be fed. And I said, oh, that's a very good idea, yeah. And I put the grass clippings all around the plant. And then another fella came to me and he said, you make like there was a professional gardener used to call. He was my advisor on the gardening, but he was the one that we're going to bag the chicken shit. We're going to bag the chicken shit and sell it to them. We're going to call it chicken shit for the upper class, because this is absolutely full of nitrogen. It's the absolute best. I'm still going to do this. I don't know if it'll be genuine or not, but I'm still going to do this. But he said to me, take off the grass clippings from around the plant. The plant can't breed. And I says, oh, yeah. You're right, because you have to use reason then in this situation, and you have to imagine yourself, yeah, the soil can't breed, and this stands to reason that if you put all these clippings around the grass, you know, to feed the grass, the soil can't breed. So I suppose this sort of like but you have to know when to apply both things, really. You know what I mean? It's sort of like setting settings, isn't that it? Setting settings. So you have to know how much shit to use, how much grass clippings to use, and when to use them, and not smother the plant, unless of course you want to smother the plant. Settings. Everything is how you use it. I have to get off this. All right, I'll talk to you later on. Yeah, bye.